Class 12 English. My mother at 66 question and answers part 1. Who looked out at the young trees? Once, being pained with the old and ashamed face of her mother, the author looked out at the young trees to escape from her painful realization. Which thought did the speaker put away? Once, the speaker Kamala Das put away the thought that her mother had really become old unbearably. What do young sprinting trees imply? Once, young sprinting trees imply life, happiness and dynamic activity. What did the poet see the children doing? Once, the poet saw the children running out of their homes, which reminded her the carefree childhood. What did the speaker do after the security check? Once, after the airport's security check, the poet stepped in a few yards and looked at the fainted face of her mother again. Name the place where the poet was driving to. Once, the poet was driving to Cochin, the beautiful city on the west coast of India. What did the poet notice of her mother while she sat beside her? Once, the poet noticed of her mother, sitting beside her, that she was dozing with her ashamed open mouth. Did the poet's mother face look like that of a corpse? If so, why? Once, yes, the mother's face looked like that of a corpse, as the half-opened and ashamed face of her mother resembles the face of a corpse. What is the meaning of doze and ashen? Once, the meaning of doze and ashen are half-sleep and be ash-colored in respect. What kind of images does the poet use to describe the mother's aging decay? Once, the terribly transient nature of man's life is the theme of the poem My Mother at 66. To portray it, Kamala Das uses two similes which vividly create a picture of decay. The lifeless face of a corpse and the late winter's moon. Both the similes convey the aging, decay and inevitable approaching of death of the poet's mother. Describe the contrast of the scene inside the car with the activities going on outside. Once, the poet makes a sharp contrast of the scene inside the car with the activities going on outside. The dozing face of the poet's mother, looking ash-colored, stands for decay and death. On the contrary, the running young trees and the merry children symbolize dynamic power and zeal for life. Why does the poet feel her old familiar ache, and what is her childhood fear? Once, the sight of the poet's mother colorless face, looking like a late winter's moon, makes her feel an old familiar pain. With the advent of age, death or decay comes to man's life. It causes a pain in the poet's mind before. The ache converts to a fear that her mother might decay soon. It is a childhood with the knowledge of man's mortal nature. Why are the growing trees described as sprinting? Once, looking at the young trees outside, the poet recollects her sporty and energetic childhood days. The trees symbolize the growing days. As the poet is in drive with her mother to the Cochin airport, the trees besides look running behind. So, the trees are described as sprinting. The sprinting imply the passing of days behind also. Why does the poet smile, and what does she say while bidding farewell to the mother? Once, the poet is happy to see her mother still breathing. But she is beset with the sorrow as she departs at the airport, bidding goodbye to her mother. To put up a brave front so that her mother can't observe her agony. She smiles at the moment of parting. She says, "See you soon, Amma," which is a promise of meeting back immediately.